Hello all, very warm welcome. Today we are looking at a lead code question, number of islands. This is a very common question which is asked in Amazon Google. Now, in this problem we are given a 2D map which contains ones and zeros, where 0 represents water and 1 represents a land. And we have to return the number of islands in that particular 2D grid, right? Now, island is surrounded by water and is found by connecting adjacent lands horizontally and vertically. That means if I'm looking at set of ones which are islands and they are horizontal to each other, then they will be considered as two different islands if they are not connected vertically or horizontally. So we need to just look at vertical and horizontal directions and see, do I have a connected ones? If it is a connected one, then it will become part of the same island, right? Now we may also assume that all four edges of the grid are all surrounded water. That means if I am having this grid, anything outside this grid is surrounded by water. I can assume that to be a zero. So let's see how we'll approach this problem. Okay, so uh, just before that, a few constraints. It contains only zeros and ones, and if you look at related topics, yes, it's a part of best for search, union find. Now I created a grid just for reference sake. So if we look at this, right, I have ones and zeros, right? So this are connected to each other. Why they're connected to each other? So rather these are like not not water but land, right? So say these are connected to each other. Why they're connected to each other? Because if I look at this one, if I look at this one, this is connected to this one and this one. Now if I look at this one, right, it is connected to this one and this one. Now if I look at this one, this is connected to this one. So in this manner, I have all the lands which are connected to each other, right? Now this becomes one island, right? Now, but there's one more island which is sitting with us, which is this one, right? Why this is a different island? Because this is diagonally connected to this one, but not horizontally or vertically. If say I would have had a 1 with me, I would have had a 1 with me in this place. If say this would have been a 1, right? Then this would have been a connected island. Otherwise it is not, right? Now, how will we approach this problem? What we'll do is, first we'll create a variable which will, this is a pseudocode which will store the number of islands, right? Now what we'll do is, once I have that variable, I'll iterate through each and every value in the 2D grid, right? Once I iterate, I'll see if that value is 1 or not. If 1, then what we have to do is, we have to call DFS, test for search for that matter, and see is this one connected to another one or not, right? And find adjacent ones and club into one, right? So if I'm at, say, this position, right? Say if I am at this position, I'll see whether this is connected to this one. Is this an island or not? Is this an island or not? Sorry. Is this an island or not? Or say, is this an island or not? Right? Now this is what we need to check. So every time I'm at a given position, I have to see whether my adjacent grids to it, which is in this case 0, 0, 1, 2, 2, 1, and 1, 0, whether those are ones or not. If they are ones, then pick them up and look for its adjacent to it. So what we'll do is, we'll say for that matter we picked this one, right? We'll see, okay, now if this 0, 0 index has an associated one or not. Yes, it has associated 1. I have in this position. Now what we'll do is, now if it has associated 1 or not, say vertically, say we are first going horizontally. Yes, it has a 1. Yes, I'll go to that one. If it has a associated 1 or not, yes, I have 1 1 1. So sorry for this. I think this will be 0 comma 0 0 comma 1 0 comma 2 0 comma 3 0 comma 4. I think I missed the typo there. Right? Now once this one is not having any associated, uh, if I come at this one, right, and I see, okay, I have this, right, I have this which is again a 1. So I might fetch this value. So in order to mitigate that, what we'll do is, whichever I have visited, so in this kind of scenario, these four, I'll mark them as visited. So these will be updated to, this will be updated to visited, right? This is visited. Now this is visited, right? So if I am at this one, if I am at, say, this one, right, then I will not go and look for this one because this is already visited. I'll just check this, and then that's it, right? And one more thing to just to keep a note of it, if I'm outside this grid, this is anyways a water. So if I'm at 0, 0 position, then 0, minus 1 is a water, and minus 1, 0 is also water, right? So these things I need to keep a note of. Find all adjacent ones, right? If say the value is the grid row is less than 0, or col is less than 0, because it will be water. If it is greater than number of row length, or col is greater than col length, or it's visited, then we'll just return. If not visited, we will update it to 2. This will keep a track. That means if I update this value to 2, say synonym to visited, then when I'll go and search for this step, right, I'll not pick this 1 comma j position because this is already visited position, right? So this way what will happen, if I'm at this position, I'll go and keep on updating the values 2's which are associated to it. Once they are updated to 2 and I come outside of that one, then say this example, right? So if these are all connected, right, now I don't have anyone which is connected to it, which is 1, right? Then I'll move ahead. I'll go 2 comma 1 2 comma 2 2 comma 3 2 comma 4 3 comma 0, then I come at 3 comma 1. Yes, this is a 1 again, right? Now these are all visited by that time, and if you see this one, this has no adjacent ones, so this will become your second island. So output of this will be 2 different islands, right? So this is what the approach will be. We'll just create one, say, counter, which will be like total number of islands, right? First it will be 0. If my grid, again the boundary condition is double equal to null, or its length is double equal to 0, return 0. Now I have int rows, which will be number of rows, and int cols, which will be equal to grid dot number of columns. Because if you see this, right, this is m comma n, that means it can be a rectangular grid, it may not be a square matrix, right? So int I comma 0, iterate through all the values which are there in the number of rows, iterate through all the columns. For int j is equal to 0, j less than cols j plus plus. Now as we said here, right, if that value is 1 or not, right? If my grid I j is double equal to 1, because here it's a character grid, right? I'll just say my total, I found my first island. So I'll do total count plus plus, and I'll do find adjacent island, right? Or find neighboring island, whatever you want to name it, right? So this will be grid I comma j, and then say just passing the number of rows calls, right? Now this way, now what will this will help me? It will help me finding the adjacent values to it, right? Now let's do that. Void find adjacent island char grid int I int j int rows int calls. Let's shorten this a bit. Right. Now what we'll do is we'll again see, okay, if this is what we said, right? If my I is less than 0, that means I'm looking outside the grid, or if my j is less than 0, or my I is greater than equal to number of rows, or j is greater than equal to number of columns, which because this is going to be greater than if the number of if the rows is, because we're talking about a length, right? So this value, if I'm looking at say this grid, right, 0 1 2 3 4, it has 5. If I look at the length, it will be 5, but if you look at indexes, it will be 0 1 2 3 4. So 5th index, the length 5th index will be outside the grid, right? So we'll see, okay, if it is greater than 0 and if it is visited, so that means if it is ij is not equal to, if it is not equal to 1, right, that means it is uh, it is water, or it's either visited, or any of those lines. I'll just simply return. I'll not do anything. Otherwise, I'll mark it as visited. How will I mark it as visited? I'll just assign a random value to it. Say in this case, say 2. Let me assign it a value 2. Right. Now, what we have to do is we have to find adjacent islands. Right. So I'm at 0, 0. I need to find. I'm at say 0, 0. What I need to find is whether 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, minus 1, 0, and 0, minus 1 are having any one or not, any ones or not, right? This is what I need to find. So what it will be? I'll just pass on grid. I'll just say I minus 1. I'll just say j, right? This is your calls. So what this took care? This took care of I minus 1, right? This took care of this scenario. Now similarly, I need to do it for all the 4 corners, right? All the adjacents. So this will be I minus 1, this will be I plus 1, this will be j minus 1, this will be j plus 1, right? That means I'm looking at row minus 1, row plus 1, column minus 1, column plus 1 for that row, right? So this is what it is. So 0, 0, it will be minus 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, minus 1, and 0, plus 1, right? Now, if everything works fine, my all the visited in the first go, in first run, these all be marked as visited, except this one, right? And then if I iterate the second time, this one will be marked as visited, right? Let's run it. Total count does not exist. Total number of islands. This is total number of islands. not all could return a value. Sorry, I missed returning total number of islands once my calculation is complete. Again, the spelling mistake. So C# is case sensitive that manner, so it got accepted. Let's try to submit it. Nice. So this got accepted. So I believe so. This you would have got the fair idea that okay, if we are looking at these kind of problems, because there are many such problems associated to this, where you can find number of distinct islands, Warren gates, number of islands two. You can go ahead and try these problems. In case you like the solution, please go ahead and like and subscribe. I'll keep on posting the solutions of the very common questions which are being asked in the interviews. Thank you guys. Thanks a lot. I hope you liked it.